Welcome back, everybody. We have another fun and exciting episode of Indie Reads Aloud. Today, Julie Navickas is back again. Can you believe it? Back again. She has a brand new book out. I'm so excited for you, Julie. Thanks for coming back on the program.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. This book is brand new. It is the third in your trilogy, right?
That is correct. Yep.
It is I'll Love You Tomorrow. For those of you who have not listened to Julie read before, you're in for a really huge treat. She's an awesome storyteller. And this is contemporary romance. So just so you know that going in. And we want to let everybody know that if you have little ears, you might want to preview this episode first before you share it with the little people in your life, because it does have some strong language. Julie Navickas is a best-selling and award-winning, nationally recognized and amazing human being, contemporary romance novelist, known for her ability to tell heart-wrenching second chance love stories through relatable characters with humility, humor, and heroism. I love the 3 H's. That's so much fun.
Me too. Yes.
That alliteration is just so much fun to say.
Like I did it on purpose.
Wow, imagine that.
Weird.
Julie is also an award-winning university instructor, and she serves as the executive director of the Writing Champions Project. Julie earned her master's degree in both organizational communication and English studies, with an emphasis in book history. You and I still have to have that conversation.
I think we do.
That's so much fun. As well as a bachelor's degree in public relations, graduating cum laude from Illinois State University. So she's a great storyteller. She's a really nice person, and she's super smart.
Well, how kind.
This is so much fun. I'm so excited that you're sharing this brand new book with us.
Oh, I'm very excited too.
Because it's always fun to be on the release end of a book, even if it's not mine. I love celebrating with people. So congratulations.
Well, thank you. I mean, you know how it is, how much time and effort and work goes into the final product. And as a fellow author, I think you can understand what goes into that final release day.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, okay, I made it through that Olympic event, and then I get the gold medal, and the gold medal is always the book, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is great, because then it lives on forever.
Sure does.
Also fabulous. Tell us about I'll Love You Tomorrow. This is the third in the trilogy. Can you give us a little background about what this story is about?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll Love You Tomorrow. You're correct. This is the third and final installment of the Trading Heartbeats trilogy. There are 6 main characters that I kind of work with throughout the trilogy. And so if they were primary characters in the first book, they become secondary characters in the second and third book. So they all kind of get their moment in the sun. Nice. But essentially it follows the Templeton siblings, and we just kind of get to experience what their trials and tribulations look like on the path to love.
That's so much fun. My gosh.
I hope it is.
And your book covers are stunning.
Oh, thank you.
For those of us watching on YouTube, can you hold up the latest book?
Yes.
It's a little bit higher. Perfect. They're so beautiful. They look like pastel paintings. They're just gorgeous covers.
I love them. I have a very talented designer.
It is very awesome. And I also want to shout out to Inkspell. They're your publisher, and they're amazing people over at Inkspell.
Without a doubt.
They keep producing just wonderful storytellers for us to enjoy. So I definitely want to acknowledge them as well.
Thank you.
So if you are ready, will you please take the microphone and read to me?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to. Okay. So just a little setup. I decided to go a different path, I suppose, this time, and not read from chapter 1. So I have selected a passage from chapter 14, which is right about that midway. So we are kind of in a space where our 2 main characters are happy in love, but they still have a significant hurdle that they need to cross. So I will begin. It's about a 5.5, 6 minute passage.
Perfect.
Okay, here we go. This is from Mitch's point of view, and Mitch is our main character in this novel. The blades beneath his feet whacked at the grass, slicing and dicing each piece of green as he steered the tractor across the front lawn of Templeton Manor. The warm afternoon sun beat down on him, forcing sweat to glisten on his bare torso. Below his butt, the rumble of the engine vibrated his bones, jarring his body as he bumped along and trimmed the yard with precision. His earbuds blasted on full volume, and Mitch readjusted his baseball cap, the Funny Parts latest podcast pummeling into his eardrums. Snickering at the lively retelling of a newspaper headline gone wrong, his attention veered to the car pulling into the driveway. It parked beside his truck. Mitch sneered as his stomach dropped, eyeing the familiar Mini Cooper with unbridled distaste. He cut the engine and stalled the tractor, ripping his earbuds out as he slid from his seat with growing rage. Stomping toward the driveway, Mitch glared at the Barbie pink heel colliding with the pavement. No way, Tess, he roared and pointed toward the main road. Are you out of your mind coming over here? She slammed the car door, and her shoes clicked against the pavement until her toes touched the edge of the freshly mown grass. She halted, fanning herself with a white envelope as she lifted the glasses from her face and balanced them on the top of her pretty blonde head. Oh, calm down, Mitch. Rolling her eyes, she rested her hand on her hip and grinned. I'm just here to drop this off. Mitch ripped the leather work gloves from his fingertips and dragged a hand over the sheen on his forehead, tucking the escaped sweaty strands of dark hair behind his ears. Drop what off? He asked, stomping in front of her. This. Stretching the envelope out, she pressed it into his palms. It was mailed to me by mistake. He lowered his gaze to Josh's name beneath the plastic address window. It's just a W-4, she continued, but he's probably freaking out because he can't file his taxes without it. With another eye roll, she dragged a finger beneath her lower lip, fine-tuning the perfect line of pink. His nose wrinkled, and he shook his head. Why are you bringing it here, to me? Well, I'm not going over to his house. She clicked her tongue and folded her arms across her chest. You couldn't dump it in his mailbox? She scowled and squinted until her eyes turned into mere slits. Is it really that big of a deal, Mitch Benson? Like you won't see him anyway to give him a stupid tax form? That's not the point, Tess. I can't believe you'd even show your face around here after printing that load of bullshit about Lauren. Her brow raised as her lips cracked into a grin. You saw that, huh? Mitch snorted, stuffed his gloves in the back of his pocket of his jeans. You fucking knew we'd saw it. You published it knowing we'd all see it. Tess tilted her head and smiled. All right, maybe a little guilty. Why? Why would you hurt her like that? Mitch wrinkled his nose. Weren't you guys kind of friends at one point? She balanced her palms on her hips again and lowered her gaze to the grass. It's nothing personal, Mitch, just simple journalism. My readership has a right to know the truth. Don't say it, he warned, a wicked smile growing on his lips. Don't you dare say it, because you and I both know the word truth doesn't belong here. Tess x-rayed him with her icy blue stare. That's for a reader to determine. All Jerry and I did was offer a possible new perspective on a questionable or tragic event. Her hand shot forward and her fingernails collided with his sweaty chest. Dropping his gaze, Mitch eyed her fingers as they dragged along his hot skin and gripped a stray blade of grass from his chest. Removing it from his body, she rubbed it between her fingers and winked, letting it fall to the ground. His stomach dipped as the breath caught in his throat, her unexpected touch poking the dormant butterflies in his stomach awake. Swallowing, Mitch took a step back and readjusted the ball cap on his head as heat flooded his cheeks. She grinned and replaced the sunglasses over her eyes. Why are you out here mowing the lawn anyway? Can't you pay someone else to do it? Mitch cleared his throat and forced away the unexpected and unwelcome dip in his belly. I like it, he muttered, folding the envelope in half and ramming it back into the front of his pocket. It clears my head. From? Mitch snorted. What's it matter to you? She shrugged. Just curious. After all these years, I wondered if maybe... Wondered what? She shook her head and bit her bottom lip, burying her secret motive beneath her perfectly white teeth. Never mind. Yeah, well, shove it, Tess. I'm not your next article. None of us are. Mitch retreated to 2 additional steps and held out his hands in defense. No, you're not really my target, are you? She winked and turned, stepping toward her car. Opening the door, Tess giggled. But I can't deny, A picture of those sweaty muscles on the front page of my newspaper might just buy me a few new readers. Looking good, Benson. Gesturing at his body, she smirked and sank back into her driver's seat, slamming the closed door as her words washed over him. His hand trailed down his chest, each finger dragging through the sweaty sheen. With a frown, Mitch glowered at the red taillights as she backed up and circled out of the driveway, the Mini Cooper disappearing into the line of weeping willows. What the hell was that about? He whispered, stuffing his hand into his front pocket. He pulled out Josh's envelope and frowned. Why'd you really come over here? He whispered as she turned and left out of the driveway.
Nice. Thank you so much. Okay, now I'm hooked.
Thank you. Just a very small passage,
You
but
always know exactly what to read to get me to add your books to my TBR.
oh,
list.
you're so sweet. That's why I didn't want to read chapter 1.
Absolutely perfect. Wonderful stuff. So now you've written a trilogy.
Mhm.
Tell me in hindsight, I mean, I know you're starting a new book, which is
Yes.
going to be part of a new trilogy.
Yes.
So in hindsight, do you see that the trilogy had a plan all along?
Oh gosh, no.
So it was just like a big mistake that it came out to be 3 books?
Isn't that funny? But I mean, honestly, that's kind of my answer. When I first started writing the first one, I was literally just writing one book. Like that was my plan. That was my goal. I'm like, I'm just going to do one book. And then as soon as I finished that one, I was like, oh, well, I could kind of keep going with at least one more character. And then I had the same feeling when I finished the second book. And I'm like, it was so obvious that I don't know why I didn't really see it from the beginning. So I guess in hindsight, if I were to redo it again, now I feel like I know what to look for and what like little Easter eggs you can kind of leave along the way to like kind of weave the stories. But yeah, when I first started, I had zero intention of doing 3 books.
So now you're starting a new book, which is going to be part of a new trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
So how is your intention changing as you're starting to write this new series?
Yeah. So I've written the first book in the new trilogy and I'm working on the second one right now. But what I strategically did this time around was instead of just plotting one story, I plotted out all 3. So now I know.
You don't know how happy it makes to hear you. It is to me to hear you say the word. See, I can't even. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
I can't even speak. You're plotting. Yeah, I love that you're plotting. That makes me
I am a plotter. Yep.
Makes me so happy.
I assume you are as well.
Passionately so.
Yes.
But so many of the authors that I bring on the program are pantsers.
Yep.
Tried and true pantsers. I don't know how they do that.
I don't either. I mean, more credit to you for just being able to like continue and go with the momentum. But if I can't see where I'm going, I really struggle.
So you have the next series planned out, or you're in the process of planning it out.
Yeah.
How? I know that we don't usually talk about craft on this program, but now I'm intrigued. So how do you keep the pacing momentum from one book to the next?
Yeah. I follow, I don't know if you're familiar with Gwen Hayes. She has written a book on craft that's called Romancing the Beat. And so I follow that fairly religiously when I'm plotting out my novels.
Okay.
And so I'll say it's definitely become easier the second time around because I know what pitfalls I kind of ran into the first time. Yeah. And you're right. Pacing it's a significant thing that always has to be at like the back of my mind because, if you rush through one portion of something, it just messes, all the dominoes fall. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I follow her path and she does it so well to help with that, full story arc for like each individual character. And I'm just trying to be conscious, right, of what that does to each subsequent character in each subsequent book.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I mean, I'm working on a series myself that I've been working on for, 4 or 5 years. It started out as a single book and then it evolved into 4 books. So
isn't that funny? The ideas just keep coming.
I was not expecting it.
Nope.
So is the second series again contemporary romance, same genre?
Yep, that just tends to be where my heart's at. So yes, the Clumsy Little Hearts trilogy will all release in 2024.
That's Fantastic. Oh my
Yay.
gosh.
Yes.
I can't even believe. Wow. That's so cool.
Well, thank you.
I'm so happy for you. I'm thrilled that we got to be friends, and I'm thrilled that you keep coming back on the program to read to me.
Me too.
So much.
Thank you.
So I get to see you 4 more times this year.
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome.
That's right. I'll space them out. Don't worry.
Okay. Because I need to catch up and read too. So
Me too. I wish I had more time for that.
yeah, I know. My list is growing ever longer.
Yes, me too.
I did 2 podcasts today in addition to yours.
Oh my gosh.
And now I have 3 more books to read. So
Funny how that works.
yeah. Thank you so much for coming back on the program, Julie. I am super excited for your success, and I wish you nothing more but tons and tons of it.
You are so sweet. Thank you so much, Diana.
Thank you.